Hi, I'm Paul, and I'm Manitoba Possible's Youth Ambassador. We're here to launch the Paint the Town Possible campaign. It is designed to recognize the many community partners that are working to make our province, Manitoba, an inclusive and accessible place for everyone. Today I am talking to Jason and Carrie of the Unit 204 Productions Services about how they are painting the town possible at their studio. Hi Carrie and Jason, how are you?
Hi, Paul. Great.
First question I want to ask, how are you making things possible at your business to be accessible and inclusive for all?
You start?
Well, I guess what we're doing is just trying to be a little more aware about what some of those things there can be. As accessibility becomes more of an issue just in general, we were lucky enough to have the Manitoba Possible rebranding campaign come through our studio, and part of that was a walk around and actually going through with some professionals and being pointed out to some of the things we could do to do that. And of course, we want as many people to feel included. So we did a few things, built a ramp, put a bar in, some of the pretty standard stuff, I think is where we started.
I would say that making our building inclusive and accessible to people of all abilities has always been something that has been a priority for us. Jason and I were both fortunate enough going to an elementary school from a very young age that was fully integrated with children of all abilities. And like Jason said, for us, part of it was just understanding what we could do, and having Manitoba Possible in doing their rebanding was a great opportunity for us to do that. And it was really exciting because a lot of the technicians in our community came to the front and donated time and materials to help us build the ramps and install some of the bars and the washrooms and that sort of thing. Being in the arts, that's primarily who uses our space, is technicians and people doing commercial shoots and music videos and short films, and everybody has a voice, and it's really important to us to make sure that our building allows anybody who wants to express through art into our building. So I guess we're doing what we can step by step.
That is awesome. Can you tell us about how you're helping paint the town possible within your business practices?
Sure, I can. We're a small business. Jason and I are siblings, and we work full-time in the film industry as technicians, as well as run Unit 204 Production Services. We primarily lease space to technicians, and then the studio, of course, for businesses and other artists who want to come in and use that space. So we're a staff of 2, and most recently we have somebody else coming on in part-time. So as far as from a hiring perspective, at this point we don't really have an opportunity to be looking at our hiring practices from an accessibility and an inclusivity perspective. However, again, making the building accessible, and in particular, the studio where people can come in and create and express and, make products that they can share with people and that can help change the perspectives of the community in general. That's been our focus, is making sure that anybody who wants into our building, just physically can get into the building, but B, also feels welcome and valued within our building and our space.
What would you say to other organizations looking to be more inclusive and accessible?
I would say it's easier than you think.
Yeah.
So again, having the staff from Manitoba Possible come through, like, I guess, for me, it was coming from the technical end of things, sort of understanding what kind of space was needed, like there's very simple things, how wide the ramp needed to be, how long it needed to be, the pitch, all that kind of stuff. And as we worked through it with them, and we did a bit of a mock-up, and they came by and took a look and said, yeah, this is like above and beyond. When we realized how simple it was in our facility, at the very least, to do that, it just all of a sudden sparked the plans to do it in other parts of the building. Like Carrie mentioned, primarily it was the studio, so we could get people in there so they could share their stories and create their visual art. But then also looking around the rest of the building, now that we were motivated to do that particular area, it's motivated us to do others. So I guess what I would say to businesses is, honestly, it's easier than you think, and it's only going to make your space richer.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that the more people with different perspectives that you can have involved in your business, the richer your business is, and the better it is, just strictly as a business decision, never mind the community value and everything else that brings to it, but strictly from a business perspective, and it does make it so much better the more people that you can have involved.
Fantastic. That was great. Carrie and Jason, have a wonderful day. Paul Hammes, Manitoba Possible Youth Ambassador, signing off for now. Have a wonderful day, people.
Thanks very much, Paul. Really appreciate you making the time as well to give
exposure to this. It's been great to be a part of the whole thing from the beginning of the campaign right through to this, and we really appreciate the nominations. It's just very nice. It was really good. Really, really nice to have.
Thanks, Paul. It was great meeting you virtually, and I really appreciate your questions and the opportunity to be a part of this. And I hope that we see you at Unit 204 and meet in person sooner than later.